threes. It usually has a lot of this three-phase stuff, and you can see some of the stuff. Some stores, they have a marked shut off, they have stickers on them. But basically, it's a three-phase. Your bigger breakers, and anything is three-phase, including this panel over here, okay, which is usually a DPT2. You shut this one off, will kill everything here, okay. Re-energizing this one here would probably be your first one when you bring you hook up your generator and you come back up. You usually turn this one on here, and the way you look for your rotation, because every generator that comes in here, not all the same, okay? Even though you got some of these transformers with color coded for the phase and how to hook it up, you might see blue, red, black out there, you might see brown, orange, yellow, different things. It's basically, you're hooking it up left to right, and you still got to check the rotation no matter what, The best way to do that is to check is on the meat saw. Remember that? Okay, turn this power on to this panel here, usually directly in here. If not, the panel for the meat saw is usually right behind the meats in that area. And if not, you're just going to have to bring it up and then still got to go check the saw. The saw has to run downward. Usually looking at it, of course, the blade goes up and around. Usually it will run counterclockwise. Okay? Okay. What we like to do is these old Pringle switches, okay, these spring-loaded your mains, we like to keep them close, but for any reason you feel that you need to open that up, do so, okay? What we usually do is a lot of times if somebody's spring-loaded, it takes 2 men in a truck to reload that thing, okay? If you can, by all means, keeping it closed, okay, on the safety end of it, you're always killing that primary out there, locking and tagging that out, okay? Making sure if the blades are open, checking your voltage out there, make sure you're good. That way you don't have to worry about opening it up. So you keep this closed, no problems. Anybody that's been years into the business knows these Pringle switches are okay, well, I'll say it in my video, pain in the butt. Okay. But yeah, so you want to open up all your three-phase, leave this one closed. This is what I do. Okay, kill my panel, or you can leave this one, just leave this one on. When you re-energize it, it'll re-energize the meat saw, you'll check your direction, if you're good, then you're ready to bring the rest of this stuff up. Okay? And then when we go outside, I'll show you where we tie in. All our tie-ins, mostly, are done on the secondary of the transformer. Okay? And you'll see what it is on the pigtail. You guys got pigtails, I carry some on my truck. We have them on most of our generators, but for some reason, we don't have enough pigtails, or we've had them show up no pigtails on the truck. That's only happened one time in my 13 years I've been here. Okay, only one time. So it's pretty good. One of the changes when we were doing for the west side, bringing them over, that's when we ran into that issue. But it's yeah. Hooking up the pigtails, hook them up, boom, boom, boom. That's all on the outside. Any questions on this so far at all? And everybody knows about Edison meter. Not everybody know how to read Edison meter. Sure. I hate to ask that question because usually we all know that. But you got different ones here. And throughout Myers, there's an A, B, and C. There's a B1, B2, and B3. And the same thing at the gas station. Okay. The only ones in the lower area, in my area, that are the old 4800, which you know read just A and C phase on the meter. Okay. When you lose a phase, the whole meter blanks out. On the one that reads 3 phases, A, B, and C, you lose a phase, you still have 2 phases on your meter. Okay? So don't look at it as being an old 4800 and vice versa. Right?
And that's right here then? You can see it?
No, that would, okay. You can look at your voltages here, but here's your meter right here. Okay. And right up here, as you guys can see, you got your A, B, and C. See it? That's all 3 phases. Now, if you got one or two of those, if you have 2 of those out, this meter will be blank. If you have 1 phase out, you'll still have 2 phases. You could have A or C, B or C, or whatever on there. But right now, that's what Edison will tell you. Okay.
And you were having them switch phases for rotation. Or no, I mean for rotations off on the meat.
What's that?
You know, for rotation. You know, switch to 2 outside phases.
If the rotation is backwards on the generator, okay, we will switch the legs out there on the generator. Yes. Yes.
That's what I thought. I just wanted
Yes.
to do that way.
Yes. Good question.
Well, I just want to make
Keep
sure
you-
everybody
that's-
knows we're
yeah.
switching them.
I took it for, as that would be automatic, and
It would
if
be.
the rotation was in reverse, you guys automatically would do that.
I'm sorry, so this is for
You're right.
once
Yeah.
the generator's running and line is off, utility's offline. This is how.
Right, yep. Yep, and this is how, when the utility's online, if you got a thousand amp probe, or you can read it on here, the Dynalogic, scroll them up. I just leave it selected right here,
Yeah, let me get a light for you.
okay? And you just up and down arrow. There's the voltage is the ground. And there's your amps. On this store right now, what time is it today? Right now we're about 7:20. This one will probably kick another 800. By nighttime, midnight time, when it's still running the grills and all that stuff, you'll see about 850. Some stores a little bit higher than that. Most of these generators, I like to keep everything around 850. If you start going over that, you start really drinking the fuel. And the other thing is that you start laboring pretty good on some of the old generators. New ones, those 1 megs, you guys are mostly familiar with, it'll pretty much carry anything in the store. Those are good for 1,500. So.
So
and,
once it's running, which ones can we trim out?
Huh?
Once it's running, which ones can we trim out on here? Like lights? Like
Well, once it's
Sorry.
running, the first thing you want to get is refrigeration up online. We have a 4-hour window. When time of the power outage goes out, we have 4 hours to get the refrigeration back up without issues with that. If after 4 hours, they have to start throwing things away. That's where the money comes in too. So everybody's pushing that 4-hour window. Okay, understand? Okay. The first thing you want to do is fire up the refrigeration, and that will be working with the level 3 too, okay? Bringing that up online and bringing the refrigeration up. And also you can continue on and bringing up the rest of the system, but still communicate with him with his refrigeration. Because that's number one and first and foremost, okay? Yeah, he's got his racks here, systems, everything's on here. And what you're doing, these are all refrigeration areas, the condensers and stuff, so where you can turn that on. Or he'll even help you in some ways, okay? And then, should we go? Once everything is backed up, and if you start getting up around and the amps start climbing too quick, too fast, especially if you're like about 800 or whatever, especially the compressors are still pumping the fuel, pumping the freon through the system, everything else, they'll climb up a little bit more, and then maybe they'll start firing up a couple grills and things like that. So, like I said, just keep it around 850. You'll be comfortable in that area. Don't try to exceed 900, especially the old one you're going to see today is you get it around 900, it'll tell you. It'll start barking, boy. Yeah.
Hey, Rick.
So,
are we also got to worry about data center and any of that stuff? Do we have to tell the manager before we switch it on, or is he going to be with us?
no, what you can do right then and there, either level 3 or yourself, you can tell, once you bring everything up, you can communicate with him and then say, hey, we're bringing refrigeration up right now. Usually within the general area, he's around.
Figured.
Oh yeah,
Just
he's
safe
around.
for us to
Yeah.
make sure.
Yeah, he'll tell you. They're usually just outside the door. When you get close to these switches, they kind of back away a little bit. Some of those guys walk right in there. We had one guy in Lapeer, he walked right up there, and the guy from Consumers actually tossed him out the door. And he just saved his life because the old printing switch blew up at that time. I mean, it was just humming, and it just boom, she went. And we all just scattered. So that's where the arc flash comes in. I have my stuff on, and the flash went this way, and I just kind of went this way. I don't need to talk anymore. If you don't respect it, you're in the wrong business. That's all I gotta say.
So the suit will be worn with everybody's aware.
If you let them know, they pretty much know that too, and that way they'll start taking their. What they do is they flag off all the refrigeration doors and all this. Some of them even run caution tape to them, tie them off so none of the customers see to open the doors up right away. Especially in the summertime. In the summertime. Okay. The other thing is, you must make sure that the rooftop units are shut off. The generators won't handle the rooftop units. The bigger generator, the 1 meg, might do some of them, not all of them. When they're running the rooftop units, the air conditioning, you can run a couple, and that's about it. Usually, the one, of course, for the computer room, which is usually on an EM panel, it's a small package unit. Okay, and you might turn one or two up toward the front of the store. Okay, but we all kind of during the heat of the summer, you kind of just weather it through. You know, it is what it is. The rooftops.
Refrigeration.
Okay, and so you're running 900 right at the moment. I got to knock off a couple of interior lights maybe. Get ready for the parking lot lights to come on. Sometimes they'll come on and doesn't seem to be doing too bad. It does maybe 30 amps you pull. You know, depending on what they got out there. What size lamps. You got to know that. Okay. Let's see. Anything else in this one? In this room here too, on top of it, if we have a transformer issue on the power outage, you are going to bring the cables in here from the generator. And right here. Well guys, this would be one of the stores if we had a transformer issue, you'd be knocking the hole in the wall right over here. That's exactly what will happen. I had to do that up here. They didn't have no holes yet made in here. You got to knock out a block and worry about patching it up later. And that's what would happen. If you lost that transformer, you had transformer issues or primary issues out there, you'd have to bring in and open up and then open this up, and you'd have to tie your cables in on the load side here. Okay. Any question on that?
Because they have to replace the transformer, obviously. Right.
That's yeah. We lost our transformer. And that would, unfortunately, it's something that happens. It's probably going to take a little bit longer. That's just one of those things. The store will have to live with that one. It's just the way it is. It doesn't usually fall that way, but it does happen. Though. Let's see, we've had 2 primary issues since I've been 13 years. And we probably had about a half a dozen transformers in my area. And that's pretty much a lot of the transformers are in pretty good shape. PMs, we were doing infrareds on them and stuff. I don't know what the status is now. We were working on that with Rick until he left, so I don't know where we are with the testing of our transformers. But we had an annual thing we were doing over the last about 2 years now. So we've got the bid for that. I hear it's TIR, and they're going to be doing it. So that's where I go. I haven't had any contact with them whatsoever, but that's some of the things we're doing, keeping our equipment in shape. Right? Good.